could really blow someone's pants off. G'day guys, welcome to Midlife Carpentry. This is a as I see it on the 40 volt XGT range. Now, I've been on XGT for some time now. I've been close to about 18 odd months. It was my preferred battery platform from the very time I started my apprenticeship. So I am in second year, heading into third year, basically in June, so pretty much heading into third year. So I've got a mixed bag of lollies. I've got XGT and I've got 18 volt gear. It's not something I'm going to rush into, but eventually over time I will need to replace those tools, and if I do, I'll probably head down the XGT road, or hey, who knows what could be coming out by that time too. That we're talking quite a few years down the track, so we'll play it by ear and go from there. So but yeah, let's have a little chat about XGT. I want to talk to you guys about my experience with it, and I want to see if they are pants downable. Pants down or no pants down. So guys, as you can kind of see, I have a little bit of a collection of XGT gear. Now, it's not something I bought outright from the get-go. There's bits and pieces. Majority of the tools, to be honest, I did purchase sort of in a period there at the start of my apprenticeship. But some of them I have grown and adapted and decided, yes, I need to add those into my collection. So with what I think I might do, I might go quickly through some of the tools that I've got here in this XGT range. And please understand this, as I see it, isn't so much a review on individual tools, it's more so the whole platform. And that's what I'm trying to get everyone to sort of understand, the XGT platform and the Makita side of it. So Makita, XGT, and it's that whole platform that I'm trying to sort of do a bit of as I see it on today. So of course, if you do see something on here that you want me to do a little bit more detailed reviews in, then hey, we can head down that road too. Just shoot it in the comments, and I can see what I can organize for you. Those of you who don't know, I've already done an as I see it for this bad boy. So this tool, as I'm sure you all know, I'll read out the model numbers as well as we go, just so you know if there's something there that you go, oh, we don't have that model there. So this is a CS002G. Now, those of you guys don't know, this is your metal cutting saw. Now, I've done a full review on that one, so please feel free to have a look at the little link up above here. Okay, click on that, and you'll be able to have a bit of a watch of that one too. And I might even actually try and put it at the end credits of this video, so that if you want to finish off the video first, anyway, you know, you save your time or save your payless thing, whatever you do. So yes, I have the metal cutting saw, absolute legend. You'll see what the go is with that one in the review, whether it's pants down or not. Okay, a review I will be doing shortly though is on the saw. Okay, so the compound miter saw. Okay, this is the 216mm saw. The last compound miter saw I ever owned, and this is mainly for handyman stuff and oddball stuff at home, was a larger AEG one. It was actually quite large, quite cumbersome. It's heavy, hard to move, that sort of thing. And going from that to something like this is phenomenal. Like it's such a lighter saw. You can get larger 40 volt saws, depending on the workload and the stuff that you do, of course, might be ideal for you. But I went this model because obviously it was the first one that was out, that was available at the time. It was a smaller saw because I just wanted a smaller saw to be available to us to do those odd jobs and stuff. So we do such a range of work, and for me to have this sitting on board is just such a convenience. Like the fact that I can pull out the saw stand, put the droppy on it, and away you go. You know, I'm cutting skirting, I'm cutting arcs, I'm cutting whatever I need to. I cut hardwood, cut through that without a problem at all. So it's a great little saw. It's got plenty of power, and the battery life, as always with XGT, and you'll hear me constantly repeat this throughout this little as I see it, is the battery life is fantastic. Why do I think Makita's gone down the 40 volt range? Now, I think I've covered this a little bit in the past, in my past little video and stuff, but I'll briefly touch on this now for some of you guys who may not have even seen that. I think definitely Makita have basically brought 40 volt in to open up their range, okay? The thing about XGT is it's opened up a whole new world for Makita to start pumping bigger and better products, okay? Using less batteries to still create the power they need to. So where you'd see some tools that have two 18 volt batteries, you know, an XGT battery will cover both of those and do the same job, if that more. So that's what it is. It's opened that whole can of worms for them, and they've gone down the road of even having a quick cut saw. I don't know whether you've seen that, it's 14 inch, 15 inch or something, quick cut saw. So a big demolition saw, whatever you want to call it. And another funky one that's come out recently, I don't know whether you guys have seen it or not, but there is a microwave. So there's an XGT microwave, so you can have it, it's about the size of a Mac pack, so basically about the size of one of them, a little bit taller I believe. And funnily enough, you can travel around wherever you want, throw in your XGT batteries, and away you go, you got Smarko. So that's why I think Makita have gone down the road of XGT. If they don't want to get rid of 18 volt, I think they'll still have 18 volt kicking around. But yeah, I think the 40 volt is very much it opens up a whole new path and whole new avenue of equipment and products for Makita. Here are my 40 volt tools that I have on hand at this point in time. Righto guys, here we go. 40 volt blower. Okay, so this blower is pretty much my at home go-to blower. All right, fantastic. I have a model number of UB001G. Okay, so that's your blower. That's the one that was just blowing me out before. And yeah, what a weapon. This thing is unreal. Very similar to the 36 volt dual battery 18 volt style, but a little bit more grunt. Yeah, and more battery life too, of course. I mentioned the steel cutting saw, so we won't go into that one quickly now. Let's have a chat about the Combi Power Head. Now this is the XGT Combi Power Head. Okay, so it comes with attachments. Now I've got the edger and the brush cutter attachment. You can get a massive amount of different types of attachments, and they're not XGT specific. So if you have an 18 volt one of these already that is knackered and worn out and you wanted to upgrade, step into the XGT range, and I'm pretty sure across the board these attachments will all fit without a problem at all. So it's the same locking system. All right, so slide it in, lock your lever, it clips in, and then lock your lever down, and it tightens up for you. So pretty standard on most of these sort of combi unit sort of things. So yes, great power, great functions. Big fan of this. I use it at home all the time. It's my regular go-to. Right, let's talk quickly about the 6-piece kit that originally came out that I know is still out there that people are buying at the moment, and it requires six particular tools. All right, let's go. First of all, the drill. That's this bad boy here, the HP001G. Okay, great little drill. A bit of a fan of that one. All right, that's kind of up there and one of my favorites. This bad boy here. Very comfortable drill to use. Next, we have our trusty impact driver, which I cannot actually see the model number. 001G. I'm sorry, I can't actually get the model number for that because it is so worn out. We'll have a chat about that one later on too. Circular saw, XGT HS003, the 185 circular saw. What a freaking weapon this thing is. Okay, so this is kind of my go-to at the moment. This is what I normally grab. I do have the 18 volt skilly, the smaller one, but yeah, I'm still finding myself always grabbing this one to do the cuts I need to. Ripping, fantastic for ripping down boards. If you've got 90mm stuff, you've got to rip down the guts to make sealing buttons for whatever reason. Unreal saw, it's comfortable, you feel safe. Yeah, it's just a great all-rounder. I've seen the ones with the plates too for the guides, the track guides. It's a shame they weren't supplied in those the 6-piece kits, because that would have been awesome. Hammer drill is the next one, so that is the next little item for the 6-piece kit. Okay, so that's the hammer drill. Great little hammer drill, very similar to what the 18 volt is really. We'll go through, I'm pretty sure I've had issues with this bad boy, so we'll go and talk through some of those a little bit later on. And last but not least, the Recipro bro. So this little Recipro saw, which is the JR001G. Now there is multiple models of these XGT Recipros out now, so keep an eye out for which one's which. As some of you may or may not know, I'm a MacPack fan, and the thing that I'm finding fantastic is the fact that I can actually sit this saw inside a large MacPack. Now, I don't know whether you watch any of my shorts or not, but if you haven't, jump over, you can see that I do it, but it actually sits in diagonally inside a MacPack like that, all right? So corner to corner in a MacPack. One of the taller ones, so type 4s they are, they'll sit a Recipro saw up this way. Okay, it's a handy tip for you. Rightio, otherwise no big issues with this bad boy. It's done the job nicely. Hang on, let's do the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Missing one. You know exactly what it is, guys. The grinder. Okay, a little 125 grinder. Look, this kind of leads me into the whole battery life and power side of things, because one of the big standout tools for me, in my experience, has been the grinder. I can get a lot more grind time with the batteries that I have and the XGT platform and stuff than what other guys can on the 18 volt, because it takes a lot of power to run a grinder, it really does, and they can churn through the batteries, and sometimes you can actually cook them in the sense of it'll stop all the time because you're trying to cut and they just don't cut quick enough and all that sort of stuff. But I swear to God, this is almost the equivalent to what a 240 volt grinder is. Hey, the only thing it's limited to is the battery and the availability of battery power. So yeah, hugely impressed with this grinder. It is a bit of a weapon, hey. So, and like Makita does, there's like 20 million grinders out at the moment, so just keep that in mind. But this one is a 005G, so GA005G. So yeah, that is the 6th item now, because I can't count, sorry, of the XGT tools. We'll go through this one too. There's something that I think everyone needs to be aware of with this grinder to keep it going. Right, that's the 6-piece kit. Let's move forward into some of the new other additions that I had, and something that I did purchase and stuff a little bit while ago. So we've gone through those, that's fine. One of the bonuses of getting the 6-piece kit was in fact a redemption. Now, I had a few things to choose from, but in this instance, I decided to choose the 1/2-inch impact driver rattle gun. All right, so we're looking at a TW004G for this one. Now, this is a very, very handy tool to have. Now, your quarter drive impact driver, okay, fantastic, got plenty of power, plenty of guts, all that sort of stuff. But it is easy to cook any impact driver when you're starting to smash batten screws in, especially into some of this hardwood and stuff that we deal with in Australia. And hey, around the world, you guys probably deal with the same deal. But I love putting an adapter on this and using my impact driver, my hex bits and stuff on this to send batten screws home. Any bigger screws, any bigger gauge screws, I use this thing. It's still not as big as the bigger Argodugs that you see around the place. But yeah, it's still equally enough oomph, and it's light enough for you to throw it on your tool belt and keep going and doing what you're doing through roof trusses and things like that. So yeah, very glad I got this little bad boy. It's come in handy a few times. Right now, we spoke quickly about the 216mm compound miter saw, so that's fine. We won't talk about that one too much. What's another little addition that I have? Is this one. So this is the little pin nailer, all right, little 18 gauge. It goes up to 40 mil, so it's fantastic. It's come in handy a few times with those few quick hold jobs. As you know, I've got a high Koki framer and finishing gun as well. So I think it's 16 gauge and your framer. The good thing about this is it's quite simple, quite quick, easy to punch it on. Now, I have ridiculously gone with a 5 amp hour battery here, just to hold it upright for you guys to see. But yes, my 5 normally stays at home and is used on the brush cutter and blower and stuff like that here. So yeah, only on some occasions when I feel I need the extra battery power, I grab the 5. I have the XGT radio as well, which I'm sure you guys are all familiar with. I mean, this standard radio is around everywhere, but this is actually the XGT version. So this one can take 3 different battery platforms. So get your head around that. You got 12 volt, you got 18, and you've got 40. So it's giving me plenty of options and stuff too. So some days when I'm using a lot more 18 volt gear, I might pitch the battery out of this to use it on 18 volt tools, and then put a 40 volt battery in, and I can still listen to music. So I can swap them out, which is really cool. Last but not least, just quickly, is a little XGT light. Now, I've been wanting a little torch or a light or something for some time, something that was convenient. Something that's pretty versatile. I didn't just want a spotty, I wanted something that actually spread light. And this little setup here, this little gadget is fantastic. So this is the ML006G, and this tool has a little pivoting head. You can see how it pivots around, all right? So you can have it sitting like that, you can have it sitting all the way that way, you can angle it whichever way you want. The one thing I really do like the fact that the actual light head itself folds around inside the handle, all right? So it limits that chances of things knocking it or breaking it or damaging it, because that's the whole reason for the tool. The tool is for the light. So if you damage your light head, then your tool's useless. So I love the fact it locks away nice and clean. You've also got this handy little hook that you pull out, all right? Pull it out all the way, and then all of a sudden you're fine for camping, or I've hung this on the handle in the van and stuff, or I'm packing stuff up at night, and yeah, It's come in handy. So that's the tools in the nutshell, basically what I have at the moment, okay? But the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is the batteries. Now, I have quite a few tools, which is fair enough. Can you imagine how many batteries I might have for these tools? How many batteries do you think I might need to keep on hand to use? Let me tell you, I have two 2.5 hour batteries. That's these little ones here, 2.5, okay? And I've got 3 4 amp hour batteries. That's these ones here. So they're slightly bigger again, 3 4 amp hour. Apart from that, that's all I carry for XGT. I've got 3 other 18-volt batteries in the case, in the battery case I got. Otherwise, the other batteries are all on a blower, on a vacuum, that sort of thing as well. So as for 40-volt batteries, all I have are those 5 that I keep on hand. Like I said, I grab the 5 amp hour if I know I'm going to be doing a job like a lot of grinding or something like that, or hammer drill work or whatever, then I'll use that. Even the saw, the fact that the saw can be used for a good chunk of a day, and you know, you might burn through maybe a 4 amp hour, you know, depending on what you're cutting and how often you're cutting. It's still pretty handy. It still does the job. You know, your impact driver lasts pretty good on a 2.5. Your drill lasts pretty good on a 2.5. So, yeah. Again, yes, it depends on the work you're doing. But in my personal experience, I've felt that, yeah, the batteries have been quite sufficient. And the fact that you can come home at the end of the day and you just throw them on charge. Now, I don't actually carry a charger with me. Some people may frown on that, but the idea is that I pretty much have a van with no cords. And that's the thing. I don't have any extension leads. I don't carry any extension leads. I don't carry anything that is corded on the van, mainly because it's just a personal thing that I'm trying to keep the whole, everything's got to be on battery in it and use batteries. So I don't have to worry about testing and tagging, all that sort of stuff. Okay. Right, so yes, so battery and stuff like that, all charged here at home. My little charge station I've got in the back here. I'll just show you that now. So, yeah, battery life is pretty much the kicker for XGT, and that's the reason why I went down that road, is to have that extra battery life and that extra bit of power when I need it. And yeah, it's been fantastic. Like, it really has made my life as a chippy and stuff a lot easier. And I keep a minimal battery count for that reason. Now, speaking of batteries, let's start going and let's have a little chat. This is going to lean into a few of the little things that I've picked up that have been a little bit disappointing with XGT. Now, overall, I reckon it's a pretty good product, but there are a few things that I think could have been improved on. So probably the first one, and speaking of batteries, is the fact that the battery stickers, okay, wear out pretty quickly. Now, I don't know why this is an issue. I'm pretty sure the 18 volts do it as well, but it seems a pretty common thing. Now, it is only a sticker, it's superficial, there's not really much to it. It's not that the battery's dying or anything, to which I've had some great experience with batteries here. I have not had any issues with them. I know of some guys who have. I've seen that around on Facebook and all that sort of, you know, I'm not sure to what extent. You know, I've always made sure that if my batteries are starting to, if you listen to your drill or your power tools and stuff, and you hear that they are dropping a bit of power and it's not fully there, check your gauge. Oh, hang on, it's nearly flat. I'll stop now. From my understanding, you're not meant to really run these to complete flat. So if you get to a point where you're going, hang on, this isn't working anymore, it's probably not ideal for the battery. So yeah, double check it. You can normally tell if your tool's starting to lessen off in power. Okay, time to put it on charge, switch out the battery, all that sort of thing. So yeah, keep that in mind. And I reckon that's probably half the reason some of the batteries may fail. Don't know, don't get me wrong. The other thing is these guys rely a lot on ventilation. Grooves and stuff in the top here, grooves in the top, grooves in the side as well. Okay, and I know from personal experience, when doing a lot of dusty work, these need to be blown out. So all the terminals and stuff, these little grooves in here, you'll notice that dust will blow out the sides and stuff as well. And I think that over time that can build up, especially if it gets a bit wet or whatever, which can probably lead to obviously the batteries getting quite hot, which is not a good time, as I'm sure you all know. All right, so yeah, so stickers are really superficial. They are breaking a little bit. I don't know what they can do about that, come up with a better system and stuff to do battery level identification. That'll be fantastic. But yeah, there's not really much you can do about that. I think you can order the stickers. I'm not overly fussed on that, so I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. What other tools have I had issues with? Okay, Probably one that I'll probably go through a little bit later on is the saw, and that's in regards to dust extraction, but we'll talk about that. I really like to do a full-on, as I see it, on the saw itself, just a separate thing dedicated to that. We might try and do a couple of little tips and stuff like that on using saws, some of the stuff that I've learned over my time as well, and send that back to you guys, and you might be able to take up some tips and see how you go with it. There's been a couple of little intermittent issues with this hammer drill. Now, it's an absolute weapon. I've used it for jackhammering, I've used it for hammer drill, I've used it for the purpose that it's been built for, okay? But there's something that happens over time, especially when it gets hot, okay, is it stops holding the bit. The bit would fall out, or the bit would drop out of the STT holder, of the coupler. Now, from the get-go, I've always greased my shanks before sliding them in, because it's always important to have a good greasing before you slide it in. Sliding in dry probably isn't the best thing for before you're using a hammer, before you're getting into a hammer. You don't want to slide it in dry, you want to grease it on the way in. Anyway, so I've always done that, and I've always felt that I've looked after it that way. But yeah, definitely when it gets hot, it gets to a point where the bit would actually stick. So I'm doing jackhammering, like jackhammering out a little bit of concrete and stuff like that. Then the bit will get stuck, and I go to try and get the bit out. It'd actually stay in the concrete, and it's not a great deal of force I'm using to pull it out. It's just not coupling, and eventually I'll get it on, and it locks on, and then it comes out again. So. But yeah, I had a few little issues with the actual chuck, the SDS chuck on this one. But apart from that, she runs pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty genuinely impressed with this bad boy. So yeah. The tool that I've used the absolute most on the XGT platform would have to be the impact driver. Now I'm sure everyone would 100% agree, especially if you're a chippy. This is your go-to tool. Now you will find it, you are using an impact driver more than a hammer these days, okay? They are a go-to, they are swung off your belt without fail, and they are something that you kind of get to use a fair bit. Now, as you can see, probably the downfall that I can really point out here is the fact that this plastic cover, the rubber sheathing and stuff like that on the impact driver, as good as it was, as fantastic as it was, the fact that it helps it when it's on a roof or whatever, it doesn't slide down off a roof because it actually grips onto something. It's not just hard plastic. It helps with a bit of shock resistance and stuff like that. But it does break away over time, and it does give up on the glue. So I don't know whether there's another way to fix that, whether they can make that any better. I'm not really sure. The other issue I had too is in regards to the screw hole on this side of this handle. I can't actually swap my clip around the other side anymore because the it's offset. Now I haven't really tried to play with it or adjust it. I'm happy with the clip on that side. I deal with it. I spin it around so I flick it around and then lock it onto the tab that I have in the back of my tool belt. So that's fine. But yeah, apart from that, impact driver is great. You've got the usual standard rubber, the glow in the dark sheath that's come off, which is okay. I mean, neither here nor there. I still do have it. I can stick it off and on if I need to, but it's not really detrimental to the actual machine, the item itself, the drill itself. So, is XGT pants downable? Am I going to give the XGT a pants downable event? Let's see. Give me a second. Yes, I'm giving XGT a pants downable. It is pants downable tools. I definitely agree. It pants down. It is something that I'm really happy to be using. Pants down. It is something that I can see definitely being a useful product in the industry, in construction, in whatever industry you may be in. XGT, thumbs up to them. Well done, Makita. Pretty impressed with that. I think XGT is going to go far. I can't wait to see what other tools you got coming out. Come on, bring out a framer at least. Surely you can do something with the XGT batteries to make sure that you can sit a framer on, get a framer going, run a 2.5 amp hour, nice light battery on it, and away you go. You know, blow these other guys out of the water. You know, everyone else is doing them except Makita. So pull your finger out. Come on, guys, get it done. So yes, they are a pants downable tool. We'll give that to them this time round. Now I've still got more reviews and stuff, and as I see it's to do. So don't get me wrong, there might be XGT tools out there that aren't pants downable. What's next for me in the XGT range? Well, my wish list is phenomenal. I have plenty of wishes and wish lists and stuff for that, and items that I'd love to purchase. Now, you know what? I'm gonna let you on a secret. Obviously, this is just XGT focused, as I see it, and we are talking about XGT. So let's talk about the XGT tools that I have on my list to purchase next. So before tax time, before the end of June, I will be purchasing the 40 volt XGT air blower. So the air duster, the high volume duster. So it, yeah, great for blowing out your tools and blowing out your batteries and that sort of thing. Now I really want that tool for that reason, wholly and solely. It's to dust things down, to keep things clean, keep the dust out of them, because especially when you have tools like grinders used in very dusty environments, okay, the grinders have little tabs here that actually remove, so that you can actually pull these off, okay, and they do need to be cleaned out. Blow that out as well. Blow out the other side. There's some vents in the top here too. Give them a good blowout, especially when you're doing dusty work. It's the same with a hammer drill. That's another common tool that gets used in the dust. Very important to keep them as clear as you can from dust. But yes, so the XGT blower, that's on the list, okay? XGT fan, not so much a bigger deal. I would like to get it definitely, because I think it will be handy in some locations that I have worked. I'm up in North Queensland, it's hot, it's horrible, and the fact that sometimes you can't even get a breeze going, I think it's going to be a good thing to have a fan available on the XGT platform, so a fan. After that, we're going to head into, so after tax time, and when I get my tax return back, fingers crossed I have the money to do it, I'm hoping I do, I will be looking at investing in the 40 volt track saw. Now this is a tool that I've wanted for quite some time. I'm extremely excited about it. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, a track saw is a lot more than just being used to cut panels to make cabinetry and stuff like that. Track saws can be used considerably on doors, okay? So trimming down the doors, easing a door using a track saw, adjusting the door to a certain height and stuff like that. Like using the track saw to do those particular tasks means you get your better cut, your squarer cut, your cleaner cut, your easier finish, so you got a nicer cut so you can finish it easier, okay? So you're not trying to plane off all the saw marks and stuff that you might have because you've wobbled a little bit as you cut it with your standard circular saw. So a track saw is a very nice finished product kind of saw. So really excited about getting one of those. I genuinely am. I'm going to get 2 tracks. I want a 1.4 and I want to get a 3 meter track, which I'll probably have to cut down to fit in the van. Might get 2.8 out of it, all going well. So we'll see how we go with that one. I'll keep you posted. And the other big ticket item I'm keen to get this year after tax is the vacuum. So the dust extraction vacuum, the 40 volt dust extraction. I've designed the van drawers specifically to fit that vacuum. So all going well, that'll fit in nicely. It'll have its spot. It'll know where it's got to go every day. And to pull it out is a breeze. You know, it's reasonably easy to access. And that's what I've always wanted from the start. Keeping the job site tidy, keeping things tidy as you go, or cleaning up after you've made an absolute mess of something is key to obviously impressing your clients, and making yourself feel pretty good about the job that you do. Okay, so yeah, that's my soon to be additions to the XGT range. What would you buy? What do you reckon? What do you reckon I should get? Is there something else that I think that I'm missing, clearly missing on here that I should have? Throw it in the comments, let me know. It'd be good to hear from you. Yeah, good to get your feedback on it. What do you reckon about XGT? You happy with it? You got any thoughts on it? Throw that in the comments too. I'm keen to hear from you guys. It's all about the community. It's all about discussion and talking about this sort of thing. And who knows, someone out there might see a comment and go, fuck, that's a great idea. Let's change that for the XGT platform. You know, Makita needs to get better. Let's make it better. Someone at Makita might even see this video. Who knows? That's it for today, guys. I'm all done with my XGT as I see it review. Thanks again for watching. Always appreciate it, guys, and we'll chat again soon, hey? Build on, legends. You have a cracker of a week or weeks or whenever you get to watch me next, and we'll chat again soon, hey? Time to go do a little tool shout out, I reckon, just over this way. And yeah, talk soon. See you guys.